Ve'rastich li le'olam. Ve'rastich li b'tzedek. U'b'mishpat v'chesed v'rachamim. Ve'rastich li b'emunah. V'yadat et Adonai. Ve'rastich li le'olam. Ve'rastich li b'tzedek u'b'mishpat u'b'chesed v'rachamim. Ve'rastich li b'emunah. V'yadat et Adonai. Shalom uvracha. It's nice to have you here on Rabbi Rock. I've just shared with you a few of my sacred moments, part of the prayers that we say each morning before we begin our day. And let me tell you a little bit about what I've just said. I've taken the tefillin. Maybe some of you have seen this, maybe some of you haven't. And I wrap it around my finger and I chant, Ve'rastich li le'olam, I will betroth myself to you forever. Ve'rastich li b'tzedek, I will betroth myself to you in righteousness, u'v'mishpat, in judgment, u'v'chesed, in kindness, u'v'rachamim, and in mercy. Ve'rastich li b'emunah, I will betroth myself to you in faith, yadat et Adonai, and you shall know the Lord, your God. Knowing God is the target, the destination of all of the things that we do in prayer. But before we know God, we have to believe in God. We have to at least try. The word for belief is emunah, and it's also related to another word called uman, which means to be proficient in something, to have a skill. And our sages teach that really in order to have emunah in this world, it's a difficult world, particularly now with all of the bloodshed, terror. It's very difficult to believe in God today. And it takes a skill. Faith is related to the word skill in Hebrew. I know many of you don't know really what I'm doing, what I'm wearing. I'm wearing what's called tefillin. It says in the Torah, you shall place them as a sign upon your hand and as frontlets between your eyes. And that's all the Torah says about it. We really only know what it is from the Talmud, the oral law, the oral instructions to the written law. We have the written law and we have the oral law, both very, very important. It's hard to understand one without the other. And archaeologists have found tefillin dating back thousands of years. They consist of boxes, one corresponding to the heart, and one the seat of the intelligence, showing that we have to serve God in our hearts and to serve God with our intelligence. And we have the action of wrapping. You might hear that in terms of marriage, tying the knot, and traditionally the action of wrapping something represents a betrothal. In some societies they actually tie the hand of the symbolically of the groom and the bridegroom together for a moment to show that their destiny, their lives are tied together. So we wear the tefillin, we wrap them 7 times on the arm. This also symbolizes the beginning of our relationship with the Almighty, how He took us out of Egypt with an outstretched arm. These are not empty boxes, these are not empty customs. Inside here are the 4 chambers, which have little scrolls inserted inside from some of our sacred prayers, from the Shema, that contains the essence of our faith as Jews. And we have one scroll here, and it has to be made out of one piece of leather, because when we wear the tefillin, the mitzvah of tefillin, we have to say the Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. God is one. God our God. God is one. And therefore the tefillin, according to the law, the Talmudic law, have to be made out of one piece of parchment, one piece of rawhide, and then the scrolls are inserted inside. You know, we have the existence of a radio. A radio is an instrument that picks up an invisible signal that comes through the atmosphere, and yet so many incredible things happen and are received through the radio, through the atmosphere. You might think of putting the tefillin like putting my antenna on, my spiritual antenna, where I'm trying to be receptive to God's message, and I'm trying to receive inspiration, Ziv Shechina, the divine inspiration. As I am wearing my tefillin, I'm putting my antenna out to try to pick up a inspiration and message. And we have a very interesting guest today, and he's really a very inspirational teacher and a magician, and he uses magic as one of his techniques for teaching. His name is Arthur Kurzweil, and we're really fortunate to have him with us today. And he's going to show us some of his lessons and some of his tricks. And we're going to do that just momentarily. So wait right there. Don't go away. And we'll bring on Arthur Kurzweil, a magician and a teacher who's going to dazzle us. So shalom uvracha, shalom and blessings to you. See you in a little bit. Shalom, this is Rabbi Praver. Welcome back. We have a really exciting guest here, Arthur Kurzweil, an educator and a magician. So with no further ado, welcome.
Thank you.
And I find it really fascinating that how you use magic for teaching. Maybe tell us a little bit about it, you know, how you came to this.
Well, I've been involved with magic since I'm in grade school, so magic has been a hobby of mine since I'm a little boy. I'm also very interested in Torah study. And at a certain point, I discovered that there are some interesting connections between my interest in magic and my interest in Torah. And I developed a show that I call Searching for God in a Magic Shop. Wow. I perform this show all over the country, and the show is a presentation of the combination between my magic interest and my interest in Jewish thought.
Now, I understand that you have that background. How does your magic enhance the education piece?
In two different ways. One is historical and one is theological. Okay. The historical one is, for example, the most common kind of trick that a magician does is a card trick. Right. Could I do a card trick for you? Sure. So I have a deck of cards here, and by the way, it's a bicycle deck. You know, there are various different designs on the back of the cards. Okay. This one happens to be a bicycle deck. Now, some people think that it's a bicycle because there are two round circles here, and it kind of looks like a bicycle. Yeah. But actually, if you look at each of the backs of the cards, in the middle of the circle, there's like a little angel with wings riding a bicycle. You see that? So every single card is designed that way, so it's called the bicycle deck. Okay. Now, sometimes a magician does a trick and will say, you know, pick a card, any card, and they'll go through the cards like this and show you whenever you want to stop and take one. But I don't like doing that kind of a trick. Okay. Sometimes the magician actually shows the cards and will say, here are all the various cards in the deck, and don't tell me which one you want, but when you think of a certain card, keep it in your... I don't like doing that either. I like just putting the deck of cards on the table. Let me put this out of the way. And I like, you know the deck of cards, yes? Yeah. You have 4 suits and you have all the numbers. So in your mind, think of a card. Any card that's got a number, that has a suit. Don't tell me yet, but just you have the number and you have the suit? Okay. So now imagine that that card is floating right here. Okay. All right.